be all right with that beer though, because beer really kind of doesn't go bad. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, I'm Ray. Matt's back with me after being out last week. Of course, his beautiful daughter, my goddaughter, she was sick. So Matt, he couldn't join us last week, but we're here live. Of course, we're here live on YouTube Live, and we were just talking. We actually have a beer that we had probably about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, and it's still here. Matt's like, well, because tonight is the last night of Original Sin. I have one left, and instead of rationing this can, I was like, Matt, if you have something, feel free to bring it. And you're afraid, you're like, well, if I die drinking this, but I think beer holds.
See, I don't know. That's up for debate. There was beer I had in my fridge from a roommate that I had. Jesus Christ. A long time ago. And he left it in there. I know
who said roommate is.
He left it in there when he left. That shit was definitely bad. I like picked it up. It was like, it looked like there was like shit in there. I was like, how long has this beer been in here? And you know who I'm talking about, and he wasn't even like a drinker.
I know,
so I don't even know why he bought beer. Can I just get beer just like to store in your fridge?
I'm just gonna have beer to have them.
Not drink
and then I'm never gonna drink them ever once in my entire existence.
I end up throwing all that shit out. So that just leads to the debate. I don't know how good this is going to taste.
Okay.
Or if I'm going to die on air while drinking
we'll see what happens if you die on air. I mean, it'll probably send us viral. But what I'm going to do real quick is I am going to real quick.
You just care about the views, you asshole.
Yes. Before Chuck Armstrong comes on, I'm going to go ahead. Normally in the middle of the show we'll run them, but I'm going to go ahead and run our ads for this week now. And then we're going to go ahead and get those out of the way. And now when Chuck Armstrong joins us around 7:00, we don't have to run them. And we can just blow right through with the interview. So real quick, here's our ads for this week. Shout out to some of our friends and some businesses here.
It smells like beer.
Okay. So well, it smells like beer.
It hasn't mutated into something else.
That's promising. It's not sludge at least. So real quick, here's our ads, and we'll see you guys in 1 second.
This is Haley Reed, and you're listening to the Happy Hour podcast.
In a world full of hunger and thirst, one restaurant will attempt to satisfy these cravings forever. Meet our hero, the cheeseburger, and his salty partner, crab dip tater tots. Together, with local craft beer, they take the fight to hunger. With a special appearance by Cupcake Milkshake, they... Vagabond Sandwich Company. Better making food than making commercials.
There's so many cute girls here. Go talk to them.
I don't know how to talk to these girls.
Here's some pickup lines. Go use them.
All right, guess I'll give it a whirl. Hey. Hey, good morning. Hey. Donut?
Hell yeah, dude. I'm fucking starving. You read my mind.
So, did you ask her out yet?
You're kind of got in the middle of it. What's up, Penelope?
Hi.
I've been working on this pitch, right? And it wouldn't hurt having one of the office brightest minds tell me what they think.
Mondays, huh?
Yeah. I wanted to talk to you about your performance. Usually, you're one of my star players. And is it that Penelope girl you've been talking about?
Penelope doesn't like you.
Yep.
So you're not even paying attention to me.
Go be the main character of your own story.
Ready to have some fun, huh? You ready?
Why do you have all of your stuff?
Oh, hey, Penelope.
Hi. I hope you are as excited as I am about this presentation.
Oh, yes.
Hello, my name is Bubba Almany. I am a bodyguard who has been in the security industry for over a decade. My team and I offer a variety of security services that cover all aspects of security operations. We have secured some of the highest profile clients and largest events in the world. Should your situation require armed protection, we have the ability to carry in all 50 states and U.S. territories. Not only do we have the latest security equipment, we also have world-class training. We look forward to assisting all of your security needs by bringing you the finest and most dedicated security personnel available. From the office of the President of the United States to local county and state dignitaries, my tactical dignitary protection officers are the tip of the spear in this extremely competitive industry. Let my highly trained staff protect the asset today. We can be contacted via the email and number below. Thank you.
Hey, this is Kenny Aronoff, and you're watching Happy Hour Podcast with me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Those are our ads for this week. So I wanted to run those a little bit early before we have our guest, Chuck Armstrong, on. And it's mainly because he is the CEO for Wonderama. Some of you may remember Wonderama. It was a children's show from the 50s to the 70s. And I didn't think that the Team Skeet Shoot Your Shot, shout out to Team Skeet, by the way. I did a review for Shoot Your Shot. I didn't think that trailer will probably be kind of appropriate interviewing him in the middle of the interview. So you will see these ads every single episode. We're going to try to get, a little bit of word out for some of our guests. And also announced today was we are now going to start selling some of our merchandise on belowthecollar.com. Below the Collar is a subsidiary of 1 Hour Tees and Pro Wrestling Tees. So that's kind of a big deal for us. So, cool. We can only start off with 4 designs because we need to get a certain amount of sales before we can release other designs, but the quality of the merchandise will be better. It'll be actual physically screen printed. I mean, like the ones here that you can get from Teespring, they're just as good quality, but they're more like they wear a little bit easier. So we wanted to get you guys something a little bit more quality, out there. So I believe it's going to be our regular logo, the Raptor logo, the Halloween logo, and Bob Star's t-shirt that we will have on those to begin with. So, but no, I mean, dude, like, and when you came in, of course, you came in hot. Like, Tom Nutty may be showing up at some point, but it's the thing that I got a new dog last weekend. So, I think we said, on previous episode that unfortunately, we had lost our one dog of,
it didn't take long
10 years. So, but the
normally
thing
doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, is our one dog needed it.
You don't have to make an excuse. I understand.
But it's funny because he's a stray. He was in Mississippi. He was a stray. So, he was with a couple of foster homes. And so it's weird because he doesn't really kind of know how to act like a dog because he was a stray. Like when he eats the fastest out of any dog I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
Like guzzles it down, and then he tries to eat Bailey's food, and then Bailey tries to bite his face off, like, "Hey, get out of here, dude!" And
yeah, my dog Rocky's like that. He'll because he was a shelter dog.
Okay.
So same mentality. He will eat everything in that bowl. Like it's like he doesn't know when he's going to get his next meal.
Oh yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, like literally, it's
like, dude,
you pour it and it's gone. Yeah, and I don't know how they do it because I can't even eat. I'm a big dude and I can't eat food that fast. Like it's fucking insane.
I don't know. I can.
He's afraid of strange things. Like we had him in the house and he's housebroken. Yeah, he's chill. He's very sweet dog. Him and Bailey get along great. Like they're still kind of setting boundaries for each other. But he was in the bedroom and I looked at him and he's just kind of sitting there looking up. And I'm looking at him trying to figure out what he's like. And he kind of jerks back and I'm like, what the fuck? And he was looking at the ceiling fan. He was afraid of the ceiling fan. So I'm looking, I'm like, you afraid of the fan? So I sit there and I take the lever on the fan, I pull it, and the fan starts going around. He's like, and he just runs out of the bedroom.
I don't
as
blame
fast
him.
as he can.
I'm slightly scared of fans. My dad used to throw me up in the air.
Did you get the head?
I got pretty close to that fan. That's all I'm saying. Whether or not I ended up getting hit by, I don't remember. But
yeah.
That would explain a lot.
Yeah, that would explain a lot. Yeah. But no, he was afraid of that. And then he was down here with me the other night. I was doing some editing for this podcast right here. I was doing some work for the podcast, and he was sitting next to me, and he was looking up at that shelf right there behind us. And I was trying to figure out, I'm like, what the hell are you looking at? And we have those pillow pets up there. We have an Orioles one, a Ravens one, and a Redskins one. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him like, and he's like barking. And I'm like, what are you barking at? So I couldn't figure out whether he was barking at my dad's flag, one of the pillow pets, my EWA Hall of Fame award, or the Orioles base that's on that shelf. So Like, I'm like, he's afraid of something, and odds are he's kind of a doofus. He's probably afraid of the weirdest thing up there, whatever that would be, something that a regular, typical, everyday, run-of-the-mill dog would not be afraid of. So anyways, during our commercials, you may have saw us in the top right-hand corner. Matt actually opened the beer, and he is alive. So,
well, that's to be determined. We don't know if it's going to kill me while I'm drinking it.
Yes.
But,
and what is it that you have there, Matt?
Hazy Memory IPA.
Yeah, Hazy Memory by Lagunitas.
That's how we. Okay, hold on.
Yes, you remember that was our very first beer ever. Was by Lagunitas.
Lagunitas. Yes. So Lagunitas.
Lagunitas.
Yeah, Hazy Memory. It's good, but if it was fresh, it probably would be better.
Well,
I'm trying to see if there's like a expiration on here, but
I don't think a lot of beers have expirations. But I'm drinking like very, very old beer. What does the side of the can say? It's always the most interesting part of the beer is, of course, when it has a description on it.
Okay, so the description goes, it's right on the tip of your tongue.
Oh, all right, just the tip. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna get a little horny, so I don't think I want to read the rest of it. But no, so close you can taste it. Just back and to the left. Okay, so this is getting a little slightly obscured by less important, but somehow more cherished. Info like one-hit wonders and World Series winners. What's that? Idling for just the right moment for recollection. Sorry, I'm a bit
for recollection.
Recollection.
Recollection. We are recollecting.
Usually
we are recollecting the flavor of this beer.
Just past 4 a.m. Should I read it like this? As clear as foghorn in the bay, right in your ear. Oh, what is that again? And that's it. That's the description.
And of course, I have our final week of our current featured brew, which is Original Sin Fuji Unfiltered Cider, which last week, this made a ton of sense as me and Socrates were like, oh, because last week's guest, make sure you check it out right here on YouTube if you haven't, is adult film star Sin Sage. So Original Sin.
I see what you did there.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, and we were like, oh yeah, we didn't even do this intentionally because this was the week before that when we debuted this beer. And so make sure you go out, pick up some Fuji Unfiltered Cider by Original Sin and some Hazy Memory by Lagunitas. And Matt may have hazy memories after drinking that beer for with it being so skank. So so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get into one of our drunken ramblings. And the first one is dog was abandoned for being gay and is adopted by a same-sex couple.
That's a cute story.
It's a dog made national headlines this month after being abandoned by its owners for being gay and has been adopted by same sex. So
I see. I try to tread carefully around these type of topics, but
yes,
how can a dog be gay?
Well, that's the thing. Like dogs humping. Like I think people misunderstand is that when a dog humps, it's a dominance thing. Like I have a female dog, Bailey. Bailey will grab my leg and hump my leg sometimes, and she's a female dog, and it's because of a dominance thing. Like she's grabbing my leg, and she's like, "Bitch, I'm the one who runs this."
But it's instinct.
Not you.
So I don't know how to go, oh yeah, you're humping all these
but I mean
guy dogs.
He just looks at the dog and he's like, you gotta be gay there. Like, I mean, what kind of like redneck weird motherfucker sits there and looks at a dog and goes, yep, he's gay. Like, I don't like what is that? Like, I mean, the dog is walking like, hey, and then he's like, okay, you know what? We're leaving you near that cornfield down the road. Like, and I mean, this is like the biggest, like, what is it? The word that I'm looking for, irony, like the irony of him being adopted by a gay couple. And I said last week, WCCB TV in Charlotte, North Carolina reported that 5-year-old Fesco was surrendered to the Stanley County Animal Protective Services by his owner after the humped another male dog. The shelter shared the unfortunate news on its Facebook page. Fesco's story quickly made national headlines and caught the attention of Steve Nichols and his husband, John Wynn, who live outside Charlotte, not far from the shelter. I was in shock, Nichols said, first reading about Fesco in the news. I flipped through and passed to the next story, and then something snapped inside me. Oh, that's a pretty adorable dog.
Look,
Like
I don't want to. I don't want
an
to
adorable
interject
dog.
for a second there, but
I don't
humping
see,
one male dog
doesn't make a dog
doesn't
gay.
make you gay. And I mean, it doesn't make a human gay.
I mean, it doesn't make them full gay, most likely, but
what the fuck is full gay? No, like, hey, I tried it out, and it's not for me.
Yeah, it's not my cup of Joe. But no, and it says he went back and reread the story and watched WCCB's video coverage and approached Wynn with an idea. And he said, we've been together for 33 years. And in 33 years, we faced the same ignorance, bigotry, and talked about it. And we thought, this time we're going to do something about it. Nichols called the TV station, and the reporter who covered the story helped put him in touch with the shelter. The couple signed the adoption papers for Vesco less than 48 hours later. It wasn't long before Nichols noticed the pup needed medical attention. I spent about an hour with him in the car, and it was obvious by me being with him he was in really bad health, he told NBC News. Following his adoption, Vesco was admitted to the Presley Animal Hospital in Matthews, North Carolina, where he was treated for heartworms, neutered, and given a health check. So the guy who had the dog wasn't even fucking taking care of the dog, because a heartworm is a serious thing in dogs. Like we just took our dogs to the vet last night because the new dog, Brooks, needed a checkup because he had a skin thing going on, and Bailey was completely out with her all of her shots. So they did like the heartworm check on her, as well, but for a dog to have heartworm. So I think more so like this is a blessing in disguise for like this dog. But what I think should happen is I think these guys, they have this pup, and I think they should show up to this person's house with the dog. Like they show up sitting outside the house wearing like, pride stuff. They have a pride thing on the dog, and they have a gay cat, a gay bird, a gay ferret, like every like possible like, LGBTQ plus, animal
plus
and
animal
person.
Well, that's probably, I think that's what the plus is for. Anybody can join. Not anybody.
You know what they should do? They should send some furries to their house, and the dogs just like run around on the porch. The dog furry just runs around on the porch.
They would hate that.
Like a madman. Like,
But, I don't know, that's a cute story. I'm glad that dog has
it worked out. It worked out well. It worked out good. And of course, our guest tonight is going to be he's going to be joining us hopefully around 7:00. It's going to be Chuck Armstrong. Chuck Armstrong, of course, he's now the CEO of Wonderama, which is a children's like game show, kind of children's show type thing. And Matt, do you remember like any shows when you were growing up that like, like kids took part in that you really, really wished that you could have taken part in? Like I can tell you one right now, and I was always too fat to take part in it. Guts. I always wanted to climb the aggro crag like crazy, but I knew my fat ass would never make it up the side of the aggro crag to be able to do it.
No, I can't. I can't really think of a game show,
like not Double Dare, not Legends of the Hidden Temple.
No, not really. I didn't.
What about Bozo the Clown Show? What about that? Because
I watched. I watched Gladiators and shit like that.
American Gladiators.
Yeah, American. Okay, I didn't watch things like children's shows. I didn't really like. Not saying I didn't watch children's shows, but not you were
a civilized child.
I would say civilized.
You just sat there. You just sat there with your glasses on, your bow tie, and you're like, I am not watching this programming. I am going to watch the news. Meanwhile, you're reading a newspaper, and you're only 5 years old.
I mean, I always thought it'd be cool to be part of I know it sounds corny, but like a Barney show. I mean, I liked Barney. Okay, so go ahead, say something, bro. No, but no, growing up, I liked Barney. I didn't care for to be on a game show, but I thought being part of the Barney group was kind of cool, and whatever.
Yeah,
I was a kid, fuck it. But there is recently I've been watching this thing on, I think it's on Netflix. I feel like it is, but The Floor is Lava.
Oh,
you ever seen that?
I've heard.
But now this
I watched an episode 2 of it.
This is more for adults, but some of those adults should not be doing that because I don't mean to make fun of anybody that is unfit, but I mean, I'm not really that fit. I probably would not do too well.
Yeah.
But some of these people are just like
Oh, dude, like I watched that
Terrible.
Flora's
I was
Lava
like,
show,
dude,
and
you're
it was
terrible.
just weird. And of course, you know,
I think it's a pretty cool concept.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, I think
Well,
it's
there's
neat.
also it's not really a kid show, but you have American Ninja Warrior as well. Which
Well, I
that's
think they
insane.
have like different
Tiers of
like
it.
tiers, like
I
different
want to
age
see
groups.
a kid's version of that.
I think they have
Like,
one.
could you imagine like a child, like, you know how they have that thing like swinging around and hits you in the face or whatever, like a child like leapfrogging over and then whop, it just hits the kid in the face and knocks him off the side. And yeah, I mean,
right, like,
you
you'd
know,
be like surprised at like
Yeah.
how athletic some children are, like at such a young age. Like, because as you get older, if you don't keep up, when you know, we got to do so much more to keep our bodies going and in shape. With children, they've got so much, it's got so much freaking goddamn energy.
well,
It's
you have
crazy.
2 kids yourself, and I mean that's
Right,
the thing.
so-
Like, if you could see your kids doing like some sort of kids game show,
I
what
would
would
do
it- what
American
would it
Ninja
be?
Warrior to wear their
Yeah.
asses out. Well, all right, kids, go jump and fucking swing across that tree, and then you got to land over here, and you got to do it in 30 seconds.
Yeah. Have you ever taken them to one of those trampoline parks? Because I have
Yes.
never been.
Yes.
And those look absolutely fucking
What is
insane.
Urban Air? Right? Is that
Yeah,
the one?
yeah,
Yes, I've been to. I've been there twice.
Okay.
Maybe 3 times. Christ, yeah, maybe even more than that.
The one in Middle River?
Yes,
That's right across from my new office.
dude. It's
Yeah.
it's fun.
That's how close I
was
am to
yeah,
you.
and I was jumping around. I actually have. Thought I'd never send
Please?
you that video.
No, please tell me you were hitting the kids with RKOs.
No. I've got to show
Like Colson
you.
just comes off of the side and you're just RKO.
I have a video of me doing the shit. Like, there's like this course that you got to jump and swing on across this thing. I have to show you. Oh man, I thought I showed you that shit.
No.
We went with our mutual friend Jay.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay's been here on the
And-
program
and
before.
Kara.
Shout out to Jay. And
And-
Kara's also been on the
yes.
show as well. Yes.
And we did the it's kind of like gladiators, like I
Yeah,
said. I always want to
yeah.
do gladiators. So I never showed you that.
No.
I'm so pissed now. Now I have to show this content now. Somehow I gotta be able. I gotta show it to you because we had. Because not to make fun of Jay or anything, but I thought he was going to be more of a formidable opponent. But
more of a formidable foe, but
yes,
he
but
wasn't.
no, like he swung and he missed, and all I did was sweep his leg, and he was down. I was like, oh shit. But I will have to show you that video after the show. I will show you. Maybe we'll show it to our viewers some other episode.
Yeah, and you know, dude, like definitely pull up the video. I would definitely 100% show it. And of course, you know, we're always talking about drunken bar fight. Like we got to get some of those videos up on here as well.
You didn't upload any?
Like,
oh man, those things
no,
were wild.
not on the here at least. So
Okay.
I mean, that's just the whole thing with that. But you know, and real quick, what I'm going to do is for those of you watching at home who may not have seen it, our good friend Johnny Goodluck, the winner of the HHPod Rumble, received his championship belt this week. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to show a photo of our good friend Johnny Goodluck with his championship belt. So you can, you know, see what it looks like in case you have not seen it. Make sure you follow Johnny Goodluck on Twitter and Instagram, and he's going to be having all kinds of fun with this championship belt. So just bear with us. The computer wants to act a little bit slow, but yeah, there it is right there. That's Johnny Goodluck with the Happy Hour Pod Championship raised above his head.
Hell
So,
yeah.
and I'm thinking we're going to do another one. I'm thinking we might do it in June of next year. And instead of doing the Rumble format, we're going to do it. Well, maybe it'll be February, and we'll do a King of the Ring type thing with 16 people.
Cool.
And it'll be the HH Pod King of the Ring tournament or whatever. And we'll have another championship belt that we will send out to whoever will win that. So
Justin, should be a crown, right? It's got to be a crown.
well, I mean,
you
we'll
make
do the whole
crowns?
King of the Ring logo on it. It'll have like a
Okay.
crown on the belt or whatever and all that. But yeah, I mean, I think the belt will kind of be like our, like, kind of like little gimmick or whatever, you know, that we do. So, but,
Yeah, dude, that belt's sexy.
Yeah.
I'd love to have that fucking belt myself. I'd wear it every fucking day.
and what we're going to do real quick until Chuck joins us is we're going to get into another story, which is a missing New Orleans woman investigation leads to a discovery of a headless torso with chainsaw with a chainsaw with flesh still on the blade.
Where do you find these fucking articles? Man?
Just look up weird news.
Jesus
and we were supposed
to do
this
time
last
we
week.
see you,
We
see
never
a psychiatrist.
got to it. And it says New Orleans last week. Benjamin Beal faced questions from a New Orleans police detective about his girlfriend's disappearance. Beal told the investigator that he feared that Julia Dardar may have taken her own life or overdosed on illegal substances. 6 days later, police raided Beal's home in the Florida neighborhood and found a headless torso inside of a deep freezer and a bus parked in the backyard. So there's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot going on there.
So he lives in Florida. So this doesn't, I mean, look at that fucking dude. Like, yeah, that dude's definitely a killer.
Fuck.
Like, yeah, that dude's definitely a fucking killer. But no, like it says, so Florida, that's one strike. And then a headless torso inside of a deep freezer. So that says a lot. But then also it's in a bus that is parked in the backyard near a machine-powered saw that appeared to have flesh and fluids on the blade. So obviously this guy has never he doesn't. He's not like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. He doesn't clean up after he kills.
Yeah,
because those guys clean up like that. Like 5 minutes, body's gone, blood's gone, everything. It's amazing. Record time in these horror movies.
This seems like this. If I had to make a analysis of this, this was, I wouldn't say an accident, but he kind of obviously is an amateur and is not dedicated to the work because you got to clean up, man. You got to clean up.
It says authorities have stopped short of confirming that the torso belonged to Dardar or claiming that she was murdered, saying that the condition of the body prevented immediate identification or determination of a cause of death. Well, I guess fucking so. But police jailed Beal late Tuesday on account of obstruction of justice, along with allegations that Beal was running a methamphetamine lab in his home, as Beal clearly became the prime suspect of the disappearance of a 36-year-old Dardar. I guess so. That explains the photo. He's clearly on meth. And it says Beal, whom police describe as male, but whom acquaintances said that preferred non-binary pronoun they, fell under the scrutiny after Dardar's estranged husband went to the police on December 23rd and reported her missing. So now there's more. This just keeps on getting worse as things go on. She said that she had left him and moved in with Beal at the home on the 2200 block of Pauline Street. The officer went to speak with Beal, who claimed that Dardar had moved out the previous week. Police wrote in court records, but Beal, who is also known as Kelly Kirkpatrick, allegedly added that Dardar had left all of her belongings, including her white Toyota Prius, and Beal wanted to report her missing because Beal feared that she had been suicidal. So I'm guessing he might go with the thing of she had cut her own head off with a chainsaw, because that would be skill. Like, I mean, if you can fully cut your entire head off with a chainsaw and successfully do it, that would be super huge skill. I am super invested in this now. Beal has elaborated on his statement on January 5th during an interview to a detective at the New Orleans police station in St. Claude. Beal described fearing that she may have taken her own life or overdosed on an abandoned U.S. Navy base in the bywater that is frequent by squatters where they worked for. So I'm guessing that's where they did their meth.
What the fuck is going on down there?
Officers subsequently obtained a warrant to search Beal's home Tuesday, and during the raid, they spotted a power cord leading from Beal's home to a blue school bus parked in his backyard, the records say. Police followed the power cord to a deep freezer in the back of the bus. Why would he leave it plugged in? Like, come on now. Investigators looked inside the freezer and found what appeared to be a headless torso of a woman. The torso had a deep linear cut along the left shoulder, which seemed to be inflicted after the woman had died, police wrote in court records. Officers then noticed an ice chest nearby. They opened it to find a recreating saw and appeared to have bits of flesh and fluid on the blade's surface. Investigators wrote in court records there was also a plastic face shield, goggles, and garbage bags near the freezer. Now, with all this info, I can clearly tell you this guy obviously did not do this. He obviously did not commit this crime. Like, I don't think there's enough evidence on this guy to say that he killed her. Wow. It says authorities weren't immediately able to conduct an autopsy or identify the person they had found because the body hadn't been thawed as of Tuesday evening, senior law enforcement said. Additionally, police alleged that they spotted various ingredients and pieces of equipment used to make methamphetamine during the raid on Beal's property. I thought that was going to go south quick.
I thought it was too.
Which is a block away from an elementary school. They also confiscated Dardar's credit cards and ID, as well as 2 guns. Police said. So with the credit card, do they technically have to like cut her face off of the card now? Like it's just her neck and shoulders that's now left on the ID. Like
Jesus, Ray, that's what you're concerned with.
He refused to make any other statements, and they booked him with obstruction of justice and a death investigation. Let's see what Beal hadn't appeared for a bail hearing as of Wednesday morning. So yeah, so there's that. So the missing New Orleans woman.
Well, I'll tell you if you want I'm pretty sure now it is possible that she did overdose and die, but I'm going to tell you he probably cut up her body to sell her parts.
Oh, I'm sure.
That is totally.
I'm positive
that's what that sounds
probably
like
most likely what happened. So
Jesus, Ray.
Yeah.
Well, now what is the next article after that? I mean,
there is no articles after that.
Good Lord, Ray. Thanks for just like dropping that one in our laps.
Oh, but you're very welcome. Like that. That was definitely and you know
we go from gay dogs to chainsawing people to missing torsos.
Yes.
What the fuck?
And of course, Chuck is not here yet, so we're just going to keep on rolling along. And you know how it is, we call it on the fly. Sometimes we don't get guests that pop up, or it happens. But so since we're on the whole thing, if you were to be, of course, there's a lot of game shows out there. If you were to be a game show contestant, what kind of game show contestant would you be? Like, you know how like on like The Price is Right, they have like basically you have those people who come up and pretty much attack Bob Barker. Like they're so excited to be on the show. They like hug him or whatever, or person just completely fails miserably at like Wheel of Fortune. Like it has every single fucking letter but one, and they still gets it wrong. You're like, no, you fucking moron. Like, what kind of contestant would you be on a game show? Like, do you think you would do well, or do you think that you would flop horribly?
It depends on the game show. Like, if it is a game show, like
what kind of game show would you do?
I would do something more like that's up more by like chance. Not trying, because I'm not trying to like doubt my intelligence or anything, but there is a lot more people out there who are smarter than I am. So chances are I would flop. Yeah. So I would do a game show much like what's the guy? Wayne Brady. Like the show he does.
Yeah.
I like that concept more because it's more like, and then like there was one like the other day that I was watching, and it was basically like beer pong. Okay. And this lady, and she sucked so hard. Well, I was like, you gotta arch it. You gotta arch it. What are you doing, lady?
What are you doing?
Right.
Why are you doing this to me?
So I think like a game like that, or like a concept like that, I would like that, because you get to choose between like this prize and that prize, but you don't know the prize, right?
Okay.
So, and then you got to play for that prize, but what you're playing for could be $100 gift card to like McDonald's or some shit instead of like a yacht.
That's a solid prize.
You know what I mean?
Like,
okay. Well, I'm talking about lesser than that. You might just get like a peanut butter sandwich.
Well, I mean, here's the thing though. Like, I think I would be more satisfied with a $100 gift card to McDonald's
than a yacht. Are you kidding?
Yes, because I don't like being on the water. Like, I don't think I'll ever do like a cruise or anything like that.
We live by the water on the East Coast. Like, and you don't like water?
Yeah.
You're a weirdo.
Like, that's the thing. I don't like swimming in the oceans. I like staying.
Well, I can understand swimming in the ocean.
I mean, I'm always afraid of getting stuck in the middle of the ocean, kind of like how the Titanic did, and there's nothing around you but darkness, like nothing.
That is pretty freaky. I will tell you that. Yes,
out there.
Because I've been on a cruise, and yes, it is exactly that.
Well, wasn't there just a cruise ship the other day that like hit an iceberg or some shit like that? Like,
what's the Titanic, bro? That was like,
no, dude. Like, there was one like last week that like hit a fucking iceberg or like some crater in the water.
There was one
shit
that caught on fire.
Yes,
I know a couple that was on that cruise. that same ship that caught on fire, but it was like a week after they had been on that cruise.
Okay.
But it was the same ship because they use the same ships.
Oh yeah. Well, they use them repeatedly, and I think that like it's kind of like with planes almost. Like
right, well, one goes in, one goes out type thing. When they're like in a rotation.
Okay. Yeah.
Some aren't though. Some go and they directly pick up the people, drop them off, and then or whatever, circle back, and it just the whole thing goes back and forth.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, normally
could you imagine that? Like, and I had this discussion with I think a colleague that I work with, like with planes. It's kind of that. Imagine how boring that is, being like someone that flies planes.
Oh yeah.
Or is like the captain of the ship, and that's all they do.
Oh yeah. Just all day long, just fly
all day long,
fly there, fly back, like
it, and like the break is it's like what?
Well, see, I wonder if some of these air disasters or like marine disasters happen because the pilot or the captain is bored. And like they start like playing like a game on their cell phone, and then the next thing you know, like in a plane, it's like, oh god, it's a goose, and then it like just end the engine or whatever, and then the next thing you know, oh god, down they go.
Not to
there she
not
blows.
to go completely off topic here, but this is kind of funny,
topic on our show,
kind of sad, but I'm not going to tell you what I do for a living because I do this on the side and I have a job, but I work in the aerospace industry. I will say that, right?
Okay.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned about birds and like getting stuck in the turbines, right? There is actually what we do, and it is an actual test, and we don't perform it at work.
Do you throw birds in a turbine?
Yes, frozen birds.
Oh, he just ruined it with saying frozen. Like I wanted to see some guy with like a goose, and the goose like
they're testing the durability. They're testing the durability of this blade. Surprisingly, they hold up pretty well. No, not the bird.
The durability of the bird. Like so wait. So
I wish I had that guy's job, but instead I got the shitty fucking.
Imagine that. Like I would imagine you would get bored after throwing so many birds.
Dude, no.
Like,
bro,
here's the thing.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I would never get bored of that.
Do they use a certain kind of bird or a variety of birds?
I think it is a certain kind. It's like I don't know what kind.
I can just see this guy fucking like Tom Bradying a bird into a fucking turbine. Like he just goes back and he has the bird and he's just.
But that's what I'm saying. I would not get bored of that job. Do you know how fun that would be? I would make a game. Like speaking of game shows, I would make that into a fucking game show. Like, let's see if you can chuck this big ass fucking bird through here, and it just gets fucking cut. Oh,
shit.
Yeah.
Like that's
so yes, that's a real thing.
Every so often when I go to the dump, like I'll go to scrapyard a lot for work. And
now these birds, hold on, I want to iterate that these no actual birds are harmed during the
just
making
the frozen bird. So they're not harmed. Yes. What they do is I think they grab a bird. Like it's kind of like if you've ever seen what is it, Old School. Like Old School, they like how they kidnap the people. They just pull up in a black van, they grab the bird, take the bird to a freezer, throw them in there. So they're not actually murdering a live bird. It's like a frozen bird. Like the bird is like frozen in place.
Right.
But so when you told me, like I would have never thought, like that's something that is now going to linger in my head for the rest of my life.
Hey,
there is a guy and his job is to throw frozen birds into a plane turbine just to see if it explodes.
You gotta test it. No, it's not to see if it explodes. You're testing the durability of it. You gotta think when they're flying through the sky, right?
Yeah.
Think of how many birds they hit. They've got to hit hundreds of them. If they don't get out of the way, you got to prepare for the worst.
And,
right?
and of course, our guest Chuck Armstrong, he's joining us right here live on YouTube. How you doing, man?
Man, I tell you what, you guys, you're fun. You guys are having fun. It'd be fun Friday. I mean, I needed some fun. It's good to see.
Well, here's the thing we were just talking about, and we were talking about a few things before you came on. And Matt, at his job, he says that there's a guy, they take frozen bird, like
not at my job specifically.
Yeah. But you work on aircraft. You work on aircraft, and there's a guy, they take dead frozen birds and they throw them into the turbines to see how the turbines will malfunction. So there's a guy that gets paid to throw frozen dead birds into a turbine.
Well, that's like a WKRP in Cincinnati episode, right? It's like, by the grace of God, I thought frozen turkeys could fly. Anyway, but wow. Is that a Transformer hat? What do you have on?
Yes, this is a Transformers hat. Yes.
Very cool. We're trying to figure out hats for Times Square when we go live. And somebody said, well, Transformer hats are cool. I'm like, oh, I'm back. I'm in vogue again. That's good. All right, cool.
Nice. And Chuck, of course, you're the CEO for Wonderama. Of course, a lot of people know. And Wonderama, is it the same Wonderama that was around in the 50s to the 70s, or is it slightly different? Because I know there was the show that was there. My boss, actually, it's funny. My coworker was telling me my boss sings that song all the time. When I told him we were going to have you on, he's like, that's the song that Tim sings all the time. And I'm like,
well, my wife used to sing one of the songs from the show. I didn't know it was from there. And it's called Exercise. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. But no, what happened was, Wonderama was a popular culture wheel. I mean, it was, we might have talked about this before, but it literally was where Michael Jackson and Jackson 5 made their first TV appearance. It was where Elton John made his first US TV appearance. It was where ABBA sang first. And it ran in all the metro media markets, but it was like a touchstone for kids in that age. And it was on for literally 40 years. So the fact that we're even in the same conversation with somebody saying, is it like the same one? God, I hope so. But the reality is trying to figure out how we can be, in essence, a reflection of what kids are looking for today. And that's what we're trying to strive to do this time in Times Square, because last year we did it going, well, COVID's here, so what can we do outside? But this year now, it's actually really cool because we've got all these kids that have been on the show in 2016, 17, 18, 19. I was doing something, I did an analysis for some people on Coke Studios has this amazing tour that's come out, right? And they got DJ Khaled, and they got Halsey, and they have the Kid Leroy, and all these amazing up and coming stars. And they got great Instagram followers, but a lot of our people are TikTok followers, right?
Yeah.
So I just did it. I took their 7 and I took our top 5 because we're going to do something at 3:00, like a little happy hour. And we had, our folks had 24 million TikTok followers. Our top lady had more kids than Olivia Rodrigo. I'm like going, what? And they had 800 million likes versus 73 million. And what I found was, we're actually creating stars. So people don't come to Wonderama. They come to Wonderama to find out who they need to see. And it was really gratifying because that, to go to your original point, was what that Wonderama did. Whether it was, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier doing a marble game to talk about boxing before their fight at the Garden. It was a way to let kids know that they counted. That they had a song called Kids Are People Too, Wackadoo, Wackadoo. And we just try to figure out a way now that we're doing this thing called the Wonderama World Experience, where we're telling kids, hey, here's some tools so you can be a positive agent of change in your community, right? Here's stuff that you can do so you don't feel like you're like being victimized, right? Yeah. So we try to talk to them, never down. And what you find out is the more that I concentrate our like publicity on who's on the show, and this is that takeaway from our amazing hosts, we find out that that's the same people that hopefully tomorrow will be singing the song like your buddy, right? Where they're going, yeah, I remember that, man. That was my song, right? And so it's a very big compliment if anybody thinks that we're doing as well as they did. So I hope we are, but we're just growing each year a little bit more. But what we found is now that we're starting to be able to create a venue where new artists can get popular. And like, okay, last thing, and I swear I'll be quiet. We got a lady on our show named Brooklyn Queen who was on years ago. So I just went to check out her social numbers, and she had like, I don't know, millions on TikTok. She had 1.83 million YouTube subscribers. you know. They're like, oh, you guys would like that, right? I'm like, holy Moses. So if you're in New York, come on down the 25th to the 29th. We got this whole world we'd love to have you guys come. If you're in the neighborhood, you're invited.
Okay.
So
and now with you said it's in Times Square. Is it outside or is it inside?
It is. It's in. So Times Square is, it's a big place.
Yeah.
In fact, I Times Square is the most visited tourist destination in America. I over 60 million people go there, and so we've partnered up with the Times Square Alliance, and we're happen to be in Duffy Square Park. There's a guy named Father Duffy who was a hero in World War One, and there's a not Jimmy Cagney, George M. Cohan statue there. And I don't know if you've ever seen the ticket booth where they have the big stairs, but it's right smack dab in the middle. It's between 46 and 48, that block.
Yeah.
And we partnered also with One Times Square, and it's a perfect view of the, where the ball is, the ball drop.
Oh, nice.
So that's kind of our big wonder wall. It says Wonderama. And, it's kind of what was the old saying? Life's what happens when you're busy making other plans.
Yeah.
We were all bummed out because we were trying to get into our qualified production facility at Baruch. And it was, in a weird way, one of the best things that happened to us because, we're now in a really very public place, and they're trying to bring families and people to Midtown, and we're hoping we're doing our part.
Awesome. And with that, now, how many kids since you?
No, I want to hear about the damn chickens. Come on, I know. Throwing chickens in the turbines.
Explain to Joe pretty much what you
how you like game out of that for Wonderama.
Well, all I said was basically there's a guy, not where I work at, not the site, but there's a guy that apparently to test the turbines, they take these frozen chickens, or I don't know if they're chickens. I'm assuming there's just some type of bird, and they throw them into the turbines as the turbines are on to test the durability of the blades of the turbine. Because like I was saying, birds get in the way. They get sucked in there all the time as you're flying. So they got to test.
Well, no, that's what happened to Sully Sullenberg or whatever, he landed in the Hudson River. It's funny because one of the things we're doing is we've partnered up with, we're supposed to announce it on July 25th, but I'm going to tell you guys now. So we partnered with the Census Bureau. So the Census Director, Rob Santos, great guy, is helping us. We have a thing called Wonderama U, which is free educational stuff, but it's hopefully entertaining for kids. And we set it up for the New York City school system, which has like 1.1 million students, as a free service during the COVID, because we were trying to give them some, different stuff for the kids to learn from. And it kind of just grew from there. So we're doing all these different careers to talk about the economic data census that's coming up next year. And we've done stuff for construction, but I want to do a career story on chicken tossing. Because I'm telling you,
that's the thing. Now you can
that's
tell,
a cool thing, right?
It's like bird awareness now. Like you can tell the kids if you see this guy in a black van just grabbing a goose and it's like and he's throwing it in the van. Odds are they're taking those things. You ever see those freezers? Like they're just shoving the geese into those freezers and they're like, all right, goose, freeze. And then the next thing they give them to this guy and he's just like, all right, he just Tom Brady's the bird right into the throat. Frozen.
And I was saying, could you imagine having that job? Like I would never get bored.
Right, exactly.
It's like, all right, pigeon, see you later. All right, cockatoo, see you later.
But could you imagine?
That's something that people don't realize when they make those turbines. Many times I think they make them by hand. They're so crafted because if there's any machine flaw, they'll fail. My dad actually used to design aircraft. And, you're thinking, well, what happens when a frozen chicken hits it? I guess that would be about the worst thing, right? A chicken at 25,000 feet. Anyway, so look, main thing is back to what we're doing. It's all about trying to allow kids to know that they can do it too. Mm-hmm. And, with the internet, it's the big thing that nobody really talks about, but there's not a lot of shackles on what you can see or not see. And kids are actually pretty responsible. They know what's right and they know what's wrong. And I think, there's an old saying, if you show people the light, they'll find their way. And it's just a way of saying, hey, look, we're going to try to do our part to give you some tools. I have a friend, I'm chairman of a college for many years called Metropolitan College in New York. And it started as well for a career school. Now it's a full-blown college. And one of the things that there was a board member who does bonds for traditionally their minority it's a minority controlled firm. So they basically are looking for people that they could have to be bond traders and bond producers or bond writers. And the big issue is the best bond trader could be in a certain neighborhood, but my mom and dad didn't talk about bond trading, right? I mean, didn't come up at dinner, right?
Yeah.
The chickens would, but
Right.
not the bond trading.
So little Timmy.
What happened to this chicken? Oh, no biggie. Someone threw it in the turbine before we got it from the store.
What do you want to be?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you can't do in the finance.
Yeah.
You have to do the frozen chickens. But here's your black van, go get them. No, but the bottom line is it's all about access, because if someone gets excited and inspired, the difference between, teaching and learning is inspiration. And so it's just a matter of trying to get kids to go, hey, that's kind of cool. I'll try to find out more. So we've got this business builder tool that they can use. But what's more important is we're creating this thing called Kid Career Connections. So kids can get one-day immersions in all these fields, but they can do it virtually. And instead of doing an internship when you're in the third year or fifth year of college, and it's too late because you already put all your money into the wrong basket, this gives them the ability to go, hey, maybe I'd like to do that. So that's kind of what's different this year. We're going to have big acts that are coming, but again, the core for our audience is finding new talent that really resonates with them, and it seems like a lot of our artists are really popular on TikTok. That seems to be where,
TikTok's where everything's going. Like we're trying to get a little bit of it. Like the algorithm for TikTok is weird. Like it's either
once you're in,
yeah,
they put you in a certain box.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't hit, so I was talking to somebody, they said, well, you just keep coming up with new names. I'm like, well, I can't change the name of the show. Sorry.
Yeah. You can only do Wonderama with so many numbers after it. Eventually they're just kind of like, why is it all, yeah. Eventually all of TikTok is just Wonderama 1 through 10,000.
No, but it's funny because Wonderama U, which is about, trying to get people to be their best selves or their best you, so to speak. It's all about, in essence, getting a DIY on a certain subject. And that's all TikTok is. I mean, I built decks with TikTok, right? I mean, souffle. I never gave a crap about souffles, but now I know how to make one, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's, do you remember, you guys ever watch Monty Python?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Years ago, they had a thing, how do you build a bridge? Well, you hang a couple of posts and it puts them, you got a road. Or how do you play the flute? Well, you blow in one end and move your hand up and down the holes. That's a lot about TikTok, but there's actually ways that kids and adults can go and say, oh, that's cool. And it's short form. So even though Meg Whitman and the guy from CAA thought that shorter form videos would work, it wasn't short enough, right? And that's why they just sold all their assets to Roku, right? Remember the Michael Ovitz and Meg Whitman? They had this giant company. It was worth billions of dollars about 3 years ago, and now it's gone. It's because they were 10 minutes long. That was too long. Yeah. We need chicken videos. You got to get a TikTok. You guys got to go over to that place and say you want to see it. You will get huge numbers for that.
Probably would.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. Like we put like clips of like a lot of our stuff on TikTok, and it just, we even tag something. It depends. Once that one hits, that's normally, you just need one that goes viral on TikTok, and then it all comes after that. And, just 2 questions, and we're going to get into some really, really fun stuff.
Okay.
It looks like you have some, what is it, Emmy Awards behind you?
Yeah.
What are those that are behind you?
And as Wonderama will teach you, they'll give them to anybody, right? So, yeah, I was many years in radio. That's why, I look this way. But when I got into television, it was because somebody told me I couldn't, which is probably the things that define you in life are the things that people tell you can't do and you do anyway.
Yeah.
Don't marry that lady. No. Anyway, but the bottom line is, Wonderama now, we've been nominated for an Emmy on a network base. I mean, on a national basis, but it's kind of cool because we're not supposed to have survived. So we started on the air in 2016, Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. And, I get calls. You're like, you're still around? Cool. Wow. So this is our 7th season on air, which is pretty much a blessing. So what are the two, give me the two, what are the two things you're going to do? You said we got 2 things we're going to do.
Well, one is we have a new segment that we're going to debut tonight. HHPod Trivia Round. Since you have a kids game show, we figured we're like, oh, let's do trivia, which we've never done before. But also, like, I just sit there and I think, and I'm like, let's ask this random thing, and then also we'll comment on it. It's kind of like before you came on, we did our blind news article reads, and we read articles. One, unfortunately, was about a meth head who cut his girlfriend's head off and kept her in a freezer, and it all spiraled out of control after that, and we're like,
but at least he preserved it. You got that going for you.
All right, so we're going to start off with the trivia first, and then we'll get into a regular game. So the first one is, what was the year that convicted serial killer John Wayne Gacy was executed?
I'm going to say 86.
86.
I have no idea.
It was 1994.
Oh,
1994.
man.
That's much later than I.
Yeah, and that's what when I saw it, I was like, wait, I thought it was all, but the thing that saddens me.
How long was he in jail before he got?
He was in a while. I think he was in about 5 years before.
Oh, so
he was in a while. So
I was way off anyway. All right. Yeah,
I think after he was,
so you had to pick up the guy that dressed up as a clown.
Well,
all right, that's fine.
That's the thing. Like, I was hoping, like, part of me hoped that they let him dress up like a clown one last time, and like they would just give him the chair dressed like the clown, and you just see. No, he died by lethal injection, so that dream went away. And
that dream went away quick.
Yeah, imagine him as a prisoner. Like, he gets his last meal, and like.
Well, I'm surprised. They must have had him in solitary, because there is a code on the inside, and there are certain people, and that code doesn't fly.
And all right, so here's the next question. We're gonna do.
Right. I didn't think I'd get it. Now I could probably ask my 13-year-old. He'd know the John Wayne Gacy thing. All right, go ahead.
What is the oldest beer brand in America?
Oof. Well, Sam Adams would technically be the oldest beer brand, but they stopped production for about 300 years. Or 200 years. So the oldest, I'm going to say Leinenkugel. What is it?
Yingling.
Yingling. I was close.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. It's outside of Pittsburgh, right?
Yingling. Yes. Yeah. And
yeah, it's in Pittsburgh. Yep.
Yeah. And then this one's a true or false. So
okay.
True or false.
Thank you for making it seem like I was almost right. That was very kind of you. Okay.
True or false?
Do I win a frozen chicken? I want to know.
Oh, you get to go to Matt's work and throw a chicken, not a frozen chicken, a live chicken into a turbine.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I don't know if what is it, PETA? I don't think they're gonna like that. We're not.
Yeah,
we're gonna stay away from
just
that.
Say
no, we kid the chickens. Yeah, that's what you have to say. Anyway,
it's in the name of science.
Yeah, okay? you're making ground chicken. That's
jeez.
True or false? Wrestling legend Andre the Giant once drank 119 beers in 6 hours.
I'd say true, because that guy could drink it. Yeah. The fact that he lived as long as he did and he died young is a surprise.
That is 100% true. And I think he still holds the world record for it. It's crazy. I'm not sure if you've ever seen the photo, but Andre, when he would hold a can, the can looked like it was this big in his hand. And that is completely.
No, they had I saw a documentary on him. I didn't watch all of it, but he was just a super nice guy. But what was wild was how ostracized he was for his size, right? Yeah. People were automatically afraid of him, and he was the nicest guy in the world. Oh, yeah. You've seen Princess Bride, right? Yeah, that was like his real personality. He was just like a really nice guy.
Yeah, and the whole time would say, "Whatever you need, boss. Whatever you need." Like, yeah. Nice.
Oh, did he work for Vince McMahon?
What's up?
Did he work for Vince McMahon?
Oh yeah, he worked.
Yeah, he's had a tough couple of weeks.
Oh, yes, especially after what came out today.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see what happened today.
Apparently, they uncovered that he paid $12 million to 4 other women to leave stuff under the table, and one was a former female wrestler. And there's so many people posting around. You mean to tell me that Vince McMahon paid $2 million for WCW, but he's paid him $15 million for sex? And I said, to be fair, 2000/2001 WCW was awful.
Hold on real quick. Did you say
you don't know who was dating? Oh my gosh! So that just came out today.
What?
I thought you said he was leaving. They were leaving.
No, they're not saying anything. They keep their mouths. They keep their mouths closed.
I was thinking, what were they leaving under the table for him?
Apparently, like it's been disclosed. I read it today that another $12 million he's paid to keep people quiet. You know about that. So that's going to get quick.
Well, I hate to be Mrs. McMahon, right?
No. Well, I think with them, apparently they've been separated for a while. I think they've been separated for a number of years, just due to business. They haven't really publicly.
But I know people that dealt with her and said, and him, but with her and said she was a real sharp. I mean, she ran for Senate and didn't win, but a good business person.
Yeah, I know a handful of guys that sing Linda's praises all the time. I was in wrestling myself. I know a handful of guys who are in WWE, AEW, all that. So, and they always sing praises of Linda.
Yeah, and it's a tough business. And it's funny. Have you watched The Rock show since you actually are a wrestler?
I have not seen much of it, but I heard it's really good. But I heard some of it isn't historically accurate. Like somebody watched one of the episodes and they're like, "This is not historically accurate." I'm like, "It's a comedy show ran by The Rock. What do you want? Pro wrestling isn't historically accurate."
Yeah,
like,
the whole thing is kind of on that. Yeah,
it's all work.
Yay.
Now, you probably won't guess this exact, but we'll give you a range. How much does the world's largest padlock weigh? What do you think the world's largest padlock
would I'd say 23 to 24,000 pounds.
916 pounds.
Oh, okay. I was really way off. I was just thinking it was something.
An actual padlock that, open key, opens, closes, and all that. And
that somebody could actually open on their own?
Yeah.
Oh.
They use them in a lot of industrial. Yeah, they use them in a lot of industrial plants. And this one right here, who was Corey's love interest in Boy Meets World?
See, now I never saw the show. So I'm going to say Bubba the Love Sponge. No,
it was, of course, a crush of mine when I was a kid as well.
I think everybody had a crush on
Topanga. So it was definitely
Topanga. Oh, okay. Yes. I know who that is.
I had a crush on
And then I'm hoping I found the right answer for this, but I figured you would know this. Who was the original Wonderama host?
Well, that is a very difficult question because actually Captain Video was the first iteration of the show. And then there was Sandy Becker.
I have Sandy Becker.
Right, Sandy Becker. And then that's when they started calling it Wonderama. And then it moved to Sonny Fox and then Bob McAllister. And it's funny because I met with Sonny Fox when we were starting this out. And he unfortunately passed to COVID about a year ago. But he was so on. He goes, "It's for kids by kids. And that's what you got to do." Right. I'm like, "Yes, sir." You know what I mean?
He was what? He was in his 90s, right? Like mid 90s?
Yeah, like 91, 92. And just a sharp, just very smart guy. But he kind of developed the format where he would bring politicians on and have the kids talk to him ask him a question, not, little kid, he didn't treat them like little kids. And then the last guy who was also super nice, Bob McAllister, he died, unfortunately, of lung cancer in the middle of a fight with Howard Stern, if you can believe it. Like one of those, but literally Howard watched him as a kid. And so he said, your values are not what I taught and all that. But he really gamified the show and made it hip. And then it became a show called Kids Are People Too.
Okay.
And moved out to LA and spent, that was about 78. And it spent about 4 or 5 years it was on ABC Network, and it kind of just faded out. But it was on gosh, in some form or another from 1950 to the early 80s. Yeah, and then I think somebody tried to bring it back at one point, and but it took me from 2008 to 2011 just to pick up the rights, and we didn't shoot our first show till July of 2016. So if nothing else, I got a lot of stick-to-itiveness. I didn't know that John Wayne Gacy was killed in '94, but
All right. So here we go. Here's the next one. Another true or false. True or false. There is a sex position called the butter churner.
Oh yes, that's true.
Yeah, that is 100% true.
I'm not gonna ask. Don't. There's some things are just better left.
We got a couple more. What Nicolas Cage movie features?
Oh, Nick Cage! I love these kids.
Features him searching for his stolen prize truffle pig.
Oh man. Every movie? No,
that's recent. That's recent. Yeah,
recent.
I think it came out in 2020. Actually,
God,
I'll give you a hint. The title of the movie is in the question.
Well, is it who? Wait a minute. I don't remember the question.
What Nicolas Cage movie features him searching for his prized stolen truffle pig?
Oh, searching. I don't know. What is it? What's
Pig? It is called Pig.
Yeah. How can I get that wrong when you handed it on a plate? I want my frozen chicken and I'm losing over and over. All right, one more.
I was like, what is a hard Nicolas Cage movie for someone to guess?
Well, it's funny because I thought you were going to ask me which one did he actually act in, and the answer is, well, we don't know. No, but
did you see the movie yet? I've been meaning to watch it, where he plays himself, playing his roles in that movie.
Yeah, that was like 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. Yeah, but you know what the funny part is? He actually is. You remember there was a movie called Tropic Thunder, and he goes, "Oh, I'm the fool, playing the fool, playing the fool." It's almost like he's so good at acting that he now acts that part like he's I'm Nick Cage, right?
Yeah, that's just like Iron Man. When they casted Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr., you have a drunk playboy who's Iron Man. That's Tony Stark. Right. That was Robert Downey Jr.
Right. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna play myself. Perfect. Right.
I believe Ryan Reynolds does that with Deadpool.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds 100% was meant to play Deadpool. Yeah, and we have 2 more questions, and then we'll get into some of the other games that we have. How many witches were executed during the Salem witch trials? This has 4 options: A, 200, B, 34, C, 20, or D, 67.
Boy, this is what it's not 200. It's not give me it was 67. What were the other 2 numbers, the lower numbers?
67, 20, or 34.
I'm gonna say 34.
You came close. It was 20. 20 were actually executed. Over 200 were accused of being witches in Salem. So, and that's just random knowledge that I picked. Me and my wife.
Well, it's funny. Have you ever been to Salem?
Yes, we went for Halloween. Me and my wife.
Yeah. And it's funny. I have a friend that's got a new pirate museum there, and I don't know why, but it's like kind of this weird vibe. I mean, it's not a bad vibe, but it's just got a different vibe than the rest of Massachusetts. Right?
Halloween was insane. Halloween was the craziest stuff I've ever seen. And now the final question.
Yes, sir.
I was thinking of children's show. So
with only 1 right. No, 2 right, I think. All right, good.
And this is another multiple choice. What was the yellow Teletubby's name? A.
Okay, Lala? So there was Poe, Lala, Ting Ting, and so Poe was the big one with the purse that Falwell thought was gay.
Yeah.
Lala was pink. Itsy Pitsy was pink. Ting.
There's Poe, Dipsy, Tinky Winky, and the yellow was Lala.
Lala. So at least I got the name in there. I screwed up, but no, I remember being in, I don't know where I was, and I know I worked for a company that had purchased another media company in England, and I went over to England, and I turned on the TV, and Teletubbies were there because that's where it came from, and it was like dropping acid. Not that I did any of that. And it was just this. So I went back to the United States, and I was a guy named Bill Carroll, who was a good friend. He just passed from COVID, and he said that'll never make it unless it's on PBS. And it really did work on PBS.
Oh yeah,
but it was like take Teletubbies where you could barely understand anything, and then put an English accent on it. So it was like, wow, this is great, man.
Yeah.
But Lala. Okay, so Lala's yellow. All right.
You weren't tripping on acid.
Yeah, at least I didn't say Bilbo. All right. Oh, what do you got there?
What we're going to do real quick is we're finally going to be able to finish our featured shot, which is 10 High. 10 High has been our featured shot for the last, month and a half. So shout out to 10 High Sour Mash Whiskey. We're going to be able to hopefully finish this tonight. We went over our featured beers earlier on before Chuck joined us. So I don't have a shot glass. I'm just going to drink this out.
You know what? This is anti-COVID right here. Here we go. All right, but it kills the germs on the way down.
Yes.
Right?
This is how. Whoa, Jesus.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I like it.
Yeah, have done worse than that.
Yes.
So,
this is how we. This is how. Well, I don't want to keep saying COVID so many times because we might get flagged, but I have had gotten COVID once, and this is how I have stayed clear, COVID free. Just drinking,
yes, whiskey.
Clearing,
yes.
cleansing the body.
Yeah, it was either that or you had to go get L. Ron Hubbard. So I had COVID 2 weeks ago. I had avoided it the whole time. And I got the antiviral thing, and it was great. It was like it only lasted for 3 or 4 days. You were tired, but you just feel like you're the pariah. It's like you have leprosy. Like, I can't go anywhere, right?
Yeah, that's how I felt when I when I had it. It wasn't that bad. I had it for I don't know. I'd say it was like 2 days, right?
Yeah,
something like,
you
like
didn't
2
have
days.
it like long.
Oh, but it was shitty. It sucked.
Oh yeah,
like I could not.
All the shots and the boosters, and it was just like, yeah, this doesn't work for that. Like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
I tried.
Thank you.
I tried getting up off the couch, and my wife's like, because my wife wanted me to do shit around the house. I mean, God, of course.
Oh
wow, look at you.
And I know. And I tried to get off the couch, and like I was like, honey, you can't believe this, but I can't move. Like my body's like, I want to, but my body's like, no. Nope.
Well, here's what I did. It was my 19th wedding anniversary. And for the 19th wedding anniversary, I gave my wife COVID-19. Now, that's got to be, so I felt well enough, and I was not very, I had my mask on. I went out to Wally World and to the, the nice wine store, and I bought a couple of things, champagne, and I put on each one, instead of putting a ribbon, I put a COVID-19 test kit. And so
good.
So that's, who needs aquamarine when you can have a COVID-19. So
yeah. And what's funny is the trivia game we just did is we're going to start incorporating it into the show. And whenever we have a guest that drinks, we're going to play the rule of if they get it wrong, they drink. And if they get it right, we drink. So
you know what you should do? Watch Star Wars and put on the closed captioning. You think I'd know that as a TV person? And every time I was watching Star Wars Empire Strikes Back the other day because I just needed to veg out, so to speak. And every time Chewbacca speaks, all it says is "Gah."
Gah.
And I'm like, that's a drinking game. Every time Chewbacca comes on, "Gah, gah." Oh, 2 shots. So I told my son, when you get to college, you got your drinking game. It's turn on closed captioning and watch Chewbacca. And you'll be all set.
I've never
seen
it on closed captioning. That's amazing.
But I'm like, they spent millions in the movie. Could they have maybe used another word? That's all he does, the whole thing.
All right. So what we're going to do,
thank you.
is now, since we drank the 10 High whiskey, we have 2 more games.
Jesus Christ.
We're going to get into our game called Incoherent.
Oh,
what I'm going to do is I'm going to display a series of cards, and they're going to be in drunken terminology.
Okay.
And you need to try to figure out what the cards say.
All right.
So,
all right.
The first one is this one right here. So, Chuck, what do you think that card says? And there's hints on the back too if you need a hint.
Okay. Can you him homie? Can you him homie? Him homie? Can you him homie?
One of the hints is splitting the bill.
Oh, can you him homie? Can you help me help move? I don't know what. Go.
It's a sign that you're being hit up for cash.
Right, and it said, "Can you help me out?" But
it's an app. All the kids are using it now.
It's basically like PayPal. It's like PayPal.
Oh! Can you Venmo me? Oh,
yes,
sorry.
yes.
That's okay.
I just now.
I'm so funny. I'm so old.
I've used PayPal now forever. So all right, so that's one. We're gonna have 3 of these. So all right, so let me the next one, and then
Venmo me.
Rocking and rolling. So there's that, and then this one. So let me just get this ready, and I will.
I really like the Transformer hat. That is.
I've had this a while. I think I got it from Spencer's. So what do
Spencer's Gifts?
That one is
Jim Laundry.
He said it, but I don't think he realized he said it.
Right. Oh, you know what it is.
Jim Talantry? I don't know. Jim.
Famous quote from a TV show.
The Jersey Shore. Give him
yes,
a hint.
the Jersey Shore.
Oh God. You know what? I never watched it. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I never did.
So it is Jim Tan Laundry. So Jim Tan Laundry.
Oh, I see. I never would have gotten that. So I read it and didn't even know it. Okay, Jim Tan Laundry. Okay.
All right. So we have one more. So you're one for one. So
I get Biggest Loser. All right, here we go.
We sent out a championship belt to one of our guests. We had this game, and I don't know how familiar you are with pro wrestling, but they have a pay-per-view event called the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And we brought back 30 former guests, Jimmy Star, Eileen, they all came back for it. And we played this game in a Royal Rumble style elimination. And the last person remaining was the Rumble winner with this card. It was like 2 hours. It was great. And I actually had a championship belt made up and sent it to them.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So
and he must have been hanging out with the guy that could drink 119 beers in 6 hours.
Yeah. So all right. So here we go. So this is your last one, right?
Okay.
Here. So what do you think that says?
You don't know who that is, Jim.
You do. Do we have any
hints?
Hint is Native American.
It's Native. Well, I'm 116th.
She's an alleged Native American.
Yes.
Alleged.
She's between 164th and 1 and 1.
The lady
164 and 1 and 1024th Native American.
Elizabeth Warren.
Yes.
On the back of these cards, I feel like that was a jab at her, but I'm just gonna let it go.
Yeah. All right. So we end our game segment.
What's this game called? I want to go buy it.
It's called Incoherent. They actually have all kinds of different expansions. Yeah,
I like that. I don't know if it's really kid friendly, but it's really good.
It's not. We chose the easier ones, but they have yellow cards, which are pop culture. They have blue cards, which are general terms, and then the red cards are the naughty cards. And then they have a naughty expansion and another regular expansion as well. So, and now this game you may have heard of before, but it's called Cards Against Humanity.
My son is a big fan.
All right.
Okay.
So obviously on the show, we can't, have you have a deck of cards. So we deemed it Cards Against Humanity Roulette. So what we're going to do is we're going to read off the face card. And then you're going to give us a number between 1 and 6, which is a lucky number that you think will best answer that card randomly.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
The first one is, so apparently Dad was searching Pornhub for hot MILF blank. So
that would be number 4.
Yeah, number 4. All right. So number 4, right away, number 4. So apparently Dad was searching Pornhub for Hot MILF being shitty to everyone and being late for everything. Do you like that answer, or do you want to rebuttal and choose another?
I want to go to 6.
You want to go to 6? All right.
Okay.
So 6. So, so apparently, Dad was searching Pornhub for Hot MILF, this boring ass white bitch from work.
Oh, there you go. That's better. Okay.
All right. So that's the first round of that. And then the rest of these are going to be recycled into another. So now this one, what we're going to do is with these, you're going to choose 2 numbers because it's a 2-answer question. So in this one, it says, in an attempt to recreate conditions after the Big Bang, physicists at the LHC are observing collisions between blank and blank. So 2 numbers.
Well, it's actually Luons and gluons is actually the real answer, but I'd say 1 and 4.
1 and 4. All right.
Okay.
So let's see what we have. In an attempt to recreate
That's in Switzerland, or France, right? Yeah, France.
Yeah. In an attempt to recreate conditions just after the Big Bang, physicists at LHC are observing collisions between the fact that time is moving backwards right now and nobody's noticing, and clearly asking for no cucumbers in my salad, and yet here we are.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that.
So do you like that one, or do you want to rebuttal one of those?
I like that one.
Yeah,
I like that. That flows real nice.
Yeah. It just rolls off the tongue real good, and it kind of made sense because
surprisingly
it was like time's moving backwards, but I clearly asked for no cucumbers, but here we are.
That's right. It's still in my salad.
About the Big Bang, it's like yeah. I mean, as far as the salad goes, I mean, no, but
now, Chuck, with all the years you've been doing Wonderama, have you ever at any point had any of the children that were a part of it, you just sat there and you looked and you were like, God, this is the most awful child I've ever encountered?
It's funny.
My entire life.
Because we vet the
they filter
parents,
out the bad
children. So the funny part is we've been really blessed in that most of the crowd has been from different camps, and they're on their best behavior. The only time we've ever had weird stuff was last year in Times Square, where this guy kept coming over with a parrot.
Please tell me that a child did not strangle the parrot. Like the child.
And I mean, no, but it was and it was actually it was a cockatoo, and it was just pooping everywhere. And we're like, could you leave? And there was one other person that said, "Oh, I know the guy that's in charge, and he said he could come." And they go, "We don't know what to do. He's crazy." And I went up to the guy. I'm like, "You're here? Oh man, I got your T-shirt. Here you go." And he went, "Thank you." And he left. And people go, "What are you doing?" I go, "Diffuse and deflect. Get him out."
That's actually pretty.
Here's how it worked. And I thought about this with the guy with the bird. Chuck diffused the situation by throwing the bird into an airplane turbine. And then when the crazy guy came up,
find enough ice.
When the crazy guy came up, he also threw that guy into the turbine. Here, have a T-shirt.
Nothing.
And I also gave him a water. It's people that. And his day was made because he said he knew the guy in charge, and I, unfortunately, I was the guy in charge. So I'm like, buddy,
he knows you now.
Yeah, here's your water, here's your shirt. Great, thanks for coming. We'll see you next time. And that was it. He went away, never had a problem. Because when you're in time, you got to be careful.
Yeah. Hey, man, we're from Baltimore. Trust me, we know with you need to be careful. When you were talking about
the most dangerous thing in Baltimore is, and we might have talked about this, the people that take those little paddle boats and go out into the harbor when all those giant ships are going by. I'm like, what are you?
Well, not to mention they are in the harbor. The harbor is one of the dirtiest bays of water that you could possibly. I'm surprised.
I'm pretty sure that's where COVID came from.
Yes, I am pretty sure that I am not surprised that water has not completely disintegrated those boats. And
it's the only
have dragon boats now. Like you don't see the dragon just sadly going down under the water.
Well, it's funny because that was the only town that Tom Clancy ever blew up with a nuclear bomb, and nobody cared. Then they go, "Oh, why'd you pick Baltimore?" Right? It's like,
the best thing that Baltimore has right now are the Orioles and the Ravens. That's it. nothing else. There is nothing Baltimore has to offer.
I mean,
well, no, they also have.
Yeah,
is it Micah? The Maryland Institute for
Maryland
Institute.
Institute.
My niece went there. That place rocks, right?
Yeah. I've delivered there. I deliver copiers for a living, and I put copiers in that building, and that is completely awesome.
Right, and the funny part is that there's a lot of really old, settled, like money, the most well endowed. It sounds horrible, but Johns Hopkins has more money than any other. I mean, Baltimore has so much going on, but people just realize that there was not a melting pot. It was kind of very separate, right? And so
what's sad is that Baltimore. And I was thinking about this when you were talking about New York and Times Square, how it's one of the most visited places out there. Baltimore is a huge tourist attraction. It was, at least. And Baltimore has great food. It has great art. The Orioles alone, especially with having the best baseball park in all of Major League Baseball, attracts so many people in that it's just sad that you drive around the corner and you have all these kids with squeegees come over onto your car. And then if you don't give them $1, they bust out your window. Like we just recently there was a squeegee kid that came up and he wanted to squeegee the guy's window and he was like, no. So the kid busted his window out. So the dude grabbed a bat and beat the kid with the bat. And then the kid pulled out a gun and shot at him. And that's what we're dealing with right now in Baltimore. And I'm going to an Orioles game tomorrow, but I do it the smart way. I get on I-95. I take the exit right into Orioles parking, go to the Orioles game, go back to parking, get back on 95 and go home. Right.
And that's but the issue is that is a failure of it. Look, Houston, I lived in Houston for about 7 years, and it used to have that the 4th ward and the 5th ward, and it was different places. And what they found out was if they went downtown where there was no people, they brought all the people together and that's where they put Minute Maid Park, or it used to be called something else, but EMC or whatever it was. The company that Deloitte, not Deloitte, I'm trying to think of the name of the company that went out of business because, well, anyway, bottom line is Enron. It used to be called Enron Stadium. Remember Enron? And it went away, right?
Yeah.
So, but what they did was the downtown was a dividing line between the people that were, in a difficult living situation and the people that live in the suburbs, and they used restaurants and ethnic food, and it really changed a lot of stuff. And the one thing about Baltimore is it's just very provincial, like Philly.
Oh yeah.
Philly's like, oh, you're over there, you're over there. And the thing about New York, I'm not from here originally, but it's not the same. Everybody's like, yeah, we all suck. It's like it's a little different, right?
There's a difference.
Yeah,
there's a difference here.
It's just there's no. It's not the same caste system that exists in places like Boston and Baltimore and Philly, because New York, is a melting pot. It really is, right? Yeah. But the Orioles are great. It's when the Red Sox would lose, I could root for the Orioles. I could never root for the Yankees.
Well, the Orioles are actually doing very well. They're in the middle of that rebuild. I'm not sure how much of baseball you follow.
But they're still in last place.
Yeah, we've won 5 in a row.
A couple games. But
you know what? We've won 5 in a row, and it's starting. You know what? Since they brought up Adley Rushman, they're bringing up a lot of those young guys, and they're hungry. And even though they've been losing, they've been one of the most entertaining teams in Major League Baseball, because they're losing 1 or 2 run games and they'll be like losing 7-1 and come back in the 8th and lose 7-6. And it's like, those guys are.
And that was for the Yankees Red Sox game, or was it 6-5? But it was one, just bring up bad memories. Go ahead. No, but the worst thing, I feel so bad for my nephew, because he has to root for the Guardians in Cleveland.
Yes, the Guardians.
Yeah, anything like like the mistake of the Lakers, whatever, but not.
Look at it this way: when the Redskins, I grew up a Redskins fan because the Colts were already out of Baltimore by the time I was born, so we had the Redskins, and then they were just football team. Like, of course, they're the Commanders now. I think they're Washington Commanders.
I think that's what.
So they're Commanders now, but when they were football team for the 2 seasons they were, I was like, you can't think of anything else in Webster's dictionary or any other dictionary to call this team besides just the Washington football team? And I mean, Dan Snyder.
I would have just called it the Washington Americans.
Yeah.
And say, hey, that's it. We're the Native American. Just say, call the American. The same thing with Cleveland, like guarding what?
Yeah. Well, I was hoping they would go back to the Spiders, because way back when they were the Cleveland Spiders before they were.
That would have been cool, actually.
Yeah, I like that. That'd been cool.
But anyways, Chuck, we're going to.
All right. Well, thank you. I hope this was okay. I really had fun. I apologize for not getting here right on time.
No, man, okay. You're good. Next week we're going to be back right here on YouTube Live. Our featured guest is John Vorhaus. John Vorhaus did a lot of comedy writing for TV shows, so he's going to be joining us, and we're actually going to be doing a lot of ad lib, like kind of like whose line is it anyways type stuff, called on the fly type stuff. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be right here on YouTube Live next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And what we're going to do is we're going to end our YouTube Live thing. And Chuck, can you hang around for actually before you go? Where can everybody find you and find everything for Wonderama?
Oh, great! And hopefully I was a clean guest. It's WondoramaTV.com. And this fall we start Wonderama Radio and Wonderama Rocks 40 Countdown. And it's where the kids actually get to pick the music. But WondoramaTV.com. And then July 25th to 29th, from 10 to 5, where it's free music, fun games, there's prizes, and it's just kind of celebrating the fact that New York's back open. And we're all kids at heart, so parents can come watch too.
Awesome.
All right. And you guys should have, you should have a radio morning show. I'm telling you.
I appreciate that.
I know it's old school, but you're a lot better than John Boy and Billy, but don't tell me I said that.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like we I did pro wrestling for 20 years. And honestly, this is the first thing like this Matt's ever done. When we first started doing this podcast, he was kind of quiet, kind of reserved. And I'm like, dude, be you. Like if we get lost, I'm a pro wrestler. I'm used to calling things on the fly. Like I don't really write a lot of things down. I don't like to, because when you're in a wrestling match and you forget your spot, you need to know how to call it on the fly. Okay, headlock. Okay, we forgot this. Okay, let's do this.
All right, pick up a chair and hit him with a chair. Yeah.
Man, honestly, I appreciate that. It's always fun. We have a who's who of guests. Of course, we have authors, we have musicians, we have adult film stars. It's always different. Someone always gets something different. A lot of people compared us to Howard Stern, because a lot of stuff we do and the content that we have is kind of Howard Stern.
And the funny part is Howard Stern is super smart, super nice, plays a role.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
But you guys are you. And that's and I'm telling you, there's that's coming around.
Yeah.
That people are looking for, because radio and whether it's a podcast or it's, you call it audio, it's all about having a conversation with people that they feel like they're participating, but they're just not talking back on their side.
Yeah.
And if I didn't say anything, it would have been super entertaining without me. You guys are great.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I look at it, I'm like, we're all about having fun. Like we're having drinks, and this is what it would be like if we were all sitting together at a table at happy hour at a bar. This is what we would be like. It'd be like, all right, let's give you us to our fullest.
Yeah, and unlike Opie and Anthony, you're not sending people to a church to do stuff, right? So that's good.
But all right, so what we're gonna do is right here on YouTube Live, we're gonna go ahead and in our live feed. And Chuck, can you hang out for 1 second afterwards?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and end. And of course, we will see you guys next week. Make sure you click the subscribe button right here at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and we will see you guys next week. All right, so that's